true that you should never bring up the subject of money in France. What is true is that you should be super careful and just wait to bring it up. There are absolutely times when French people talk about money or allude to things that do cost a lot of money. Like it's really common at work, for example, for people to talk about renovations they're doing, talk about vacations they've been on, and obviously all those things cost money. Whereas I've noticed that if a girl is like, oh, I bought this new handbag that cost 500 euros, people kind of are like, oh, like it's like a little bit upsetting to them, even though clearly the vacation they were talking about the week before cost like 2,000 euros, right? Like there's a little bit of nuance. The taboos are different depending on what the subject is. And this is true for any country. We absolutely have taboos about money in America as well. When I went to France, however, a lot of people had been told that Americans have no taboos about money. And so they asked me tons of questions about my salary and all these things. And they're like, oh, we can ask you these things because you're American. And I'm like, no, you can't. This is not appropriate. No, not appropriate whatsoever. Being rich or appearing rich in France is also a bit taboo unless you do it a certain way. There's certain ways you can do it without being like too judged. For example, again, talking about your house renovations or like these big vacations you go on, but other ways discussing like or hinting at that you might be rich. Like sometimes people will watch my YouTube videos and be like, oh, you bought yourself a galette de roi. I see it's the third one you've eaten this month. You must be rich. That was a real comment I had once. And they were like saying it in a very insulting way and then said some nasty words afterwards. And I'm like, I bought 3 cakes this month. So now I'm a rich bitch and a nasty person apparently. So yeah, it's kind of like how in America, the taboos and what the ways you're allowed to talk about money that might seem like really tacky or grotesque in America, right? They're not the same as in France. There's different rules about how it's tacky to talk about it or not. So it's really, really easy. If you're just a visitor or even just living there for study abroad, it's a super easy question, a super easy topic, to avoid. So if you don't want to have any confrontation, if you don't want any faux pas, feel free to avoid it. If you want to just risk annoying people, go ahead. Anytime I make these videos, there's somebody in the comments who's like, I can say whatever I want when I go to France. And I'm like, yes, you can. Good for you. Like, no one's going to arrest you. That's not what I'm saying. These videos are just like kind of like a fun educational way, kind of like when you have those mini culture moments in your French language learning classes, so that maybe when you go to France, you can kind of be a little bit aware of some things that might be touchy subjects and avoid having problems if you don't want them. If you want problems, you can have them. I don't care. I'm not your mama.